Students, in the previous class we were discussing about the how to evaluate the bearing capacity using the analytical methods. We have seen Terzaghi's theory and also Mehra's theory. We worked out numerical examples. Later we went for plate load test. How plate load test can be used to evaluate the bearing capacity. How to plot the test results and get your yield value. From that you get your ultimate bearing capacity, and using that you can use a suitable factor safety and get the same bearing capacity. Now we have got the other methods, that is to get the SBC using the SPT end values and also the cone penetration values. These are the through cone penetration test, okay, or through SPT test, standard penetration test. Okay, let us see how using tolerable settlement and for known value of n for the SPT n value. Terzaghi has given, Terzaghi in fact in 1967 gave a chart for various widths of foundation. What is the allowable bearing pressure QA for a particular settlement? Okay, the permissible settlement was developed because usually the total settlement usually was allowed for 25 cm, and we can make the proportional changes later. Now using the chart, okay, using the figure for a permissible settlement of 25 mm, I can see if I got my SPT test results, say let us say I got n value as 30 and my width of foundation is 2 meters, I go vertically up and I choose the n value chart, okay, then accordingly I get my, what is my allowable bearing pressure. Now this is based on n value through using the chart given by Terzaghi. There are other empirical equations. Now let us look into what are the empirical equations using the n value. Teng has given allowable bearing pressure for a particular settlement of 25 mm. He has given an expression 34.3 into n minus 3 into b is the width of the foundation plus 0.3 divided by 2b whole square into RW2. These are the reduction factors. Okay, this is the reduction factor and this is the depth factor. RW2, as you already have seen for the effect of groundwater table, you are going to take this reduction factor. It is the same reduction factor 0.5 into 1 plus ZW2 by B. And RW is the reduction factor, the depth factor. Now depending upon the depth factor, it can be not greater than 1.2. Okay. Therefore this factor is not going to be more than 1.2. Depending upon the depth and that is where you are going to locate the foundation and the width of the foundation, that ratio. Okay, when it becomes equal, then it becomes 1 plus 0.2. Therefore it should be less than or equal to, because it is applicable for shallow foundation. What happens when D is equal to B? Okay, that is the limit of the shallow foundation. Then we have got the gross pressure is equal to, that is the total load, is equal to the allowable pressure plus the overburden pressure. Then Mehra has given similar expression. Okay, so the slight modification. He has given before Teng could give it. Mehra was independently working in Canada for science, and he found that these are all meant for cohesiveness materials. Okay, now when n value is known, okay, similar reduction factor and depth factor has been given. The RD value is slightly different compared to this. Whatever expression given by Teng, it is 1 plus 0.3 d by b. B is the width of the foundation. Okay, you can take it as capital B. Then the maximum value is 1.33. Then you got two expressions. When B is less than or equal to 1.2, the allowable bearing pressure for that particular settlement, even he has also considered rho is equal to 25 mm. For a allowable settlement of 25 mm, the expressions are given. When B is less than or equal to 1.2, one expression is that is 12.5 into n into RW2 into RD. When B exceeds 1.2, we got an expression that is 8.3 into n into B plus 0.3 divided by B whole square into RW2 into RD, where RW2 is similar to this whatever reduction factor for the effect of water table. Now, IS code has adopted similar expression but modified for 40 mm settlement instead of 25 mm settlement. IS code has used slightly different value, and later when the revision took place, this is 3, third one. IS 16403 1971, before the revision took place, they adopted tens equation, but of course for permissible settlement is equal to 40 mm. The expression taken, that is Q allowable for a settlement of 40 mm is equal to 55 into n minus of 3. See, these are all empirical equations. It is all based on their studies. Some modifications will come based on their understanding. Here the depth reduction factor is depth factor is removed. Only the reduction factor for the effect of water table is given, and then value is and the coefficient is also changing. Okay, these are all small changes. But later, when IS code was revised in 1981, this was our equation was dropped. Therefore, this is not valid anymore. So now we will see. We have seen how we can use the tolerable settlement and n values, and we can try to find out the allowable bearing capacity or allowable bearing pressure. Now we will see how we can use the cone penetration test results. When I got a cone penetration test done, static cone penetration test, from this we get the penetration resistance QC. Now using that QC, Mayrhof in 1956, Mayrhof's contribution is very good. Okay, he has done various works for bearing capacity evaluation. In this for strip foundation, for strip footing, where B, so it's for strip footing or even for square footing. First one, when B is less than or equal to 1.2 meters, then Q allowable, this is Q allowable. I use the symbol rho to indicate that this for a particular settlement is equal to 3.6 into QC in kilonewton per meter square. So this expression is coming in kilonewton per meter square, whereas QC is expressed in kg per cm square. Then when B is greater than 1.2 meters, okay, the expression slightly changes. This is 2.1 into QC into 1 plus 1 by B whole square, again kilonewton per meter square. But for both the expressions, QC is expressed, this QC and this QC is expressed in kg per cm square, because we don't substitute in kilonewton per meter square. Now, without worrying for all these things, in general, we can, for all types of foundations, to cover an approximate formula to cover all foundations. for all foundations. What you can do is, irrespective of the width, cover not only strip footing and square footing, even circular footing also and rectangular footing, and all irrespective size, without bringing the irrespective size of the footing. Okay, this is an important point. Okay, I can take QA approximately equal to 2.7 into QC. This is without worrying about the size or the type of foundation. You can use this expression. Of course, the results will be expressed in kilonewton per meter square, and as I already told, QC should be expressed in kg per cm square. Now we will see how we can use these expressions. Okay, you can work out, you can take some numerical examples. Okay, for n values have been given, we can substitute the values of n values and try to work out as given earlier. And if the cone penetration results are given, we can substitute the cone penetration resistance, and we can substitute here and get your allowable bearing capacity. Once you get your allowable bearing capacity, you can get your gross allowable bearing pressure by adding the overburden pressure, that is gamma into T. Students will now discuss how to find out the settlements of footings. Now, settlement of footings, okay, depending upon the type of soil, we have different types of settlements, which is very prominent. In general, settlements can be of three types. First one is the elastic settlement or immediate settlement. Then we have, we'll take it as A, then B is consolidation settlement. In consolidation settlement, we have primary consolidation settlement, and secondary consolidation settlement. Now let us try to see. This immediate settlement is because of the compression of the soil material which takes place immediately. There will be no drainage of the water, there will be no squeezing of the water. It is only because of the removal of the compression of the material. It may be removal of the air voids, expulsion of the air voids. There will be no expulsion of water. Okay, this is meant for both types of soils. Okay, it may be for cohesionless materials like sand or even for clay. Whereas consolidation is only meant for cohesive soils or clay soils. Therefore, we will try to see in sand what is the immediate settlement. Okay, we will try to see what is the immediate settlement in sand. What is the immediate settlement? Now this, the immediate settlement in sand, rho I is given as H divided by the compressibility factor Cs into log of sigma naught prime plus delta sigma prime by sigma naught prime base 10. Don't get confused with the settlement equation for clay. Now Cs is the compressibility factor. Compressibility factor, which is given as is equal to 1.5 into the QR value divided by, this is small q, divided by sigma naught prime. That is the ratio of the, whereas the ratio of the QR is the resistance, cone resistance. Therefore, this ratio is nothing but the cone resistance to the overburden pressure, and sigma naught prime is the existing overburden pressure. Now this is meant for sand material. Similarly, we will try to see settlement for clay. If clay is the material, what is going to be the immediate settlement for clay? Immediate settlement for clay is equal to the stress that is coming from the foundation loading, Q or Qn, okay, Q into 1 minus of Q into B, actually Q into B into 1 minus of mu square divided by the soil modulus into the influence value IW, where Q is the foundation load and B is the width of the foundation. Q is the load intensity coming at the footing level, then B is the least lateral dimension of footing. In case you have a circular foundation, B becomes the diameter. Nu is the Poisson ratio. Then IW is the influence value. Then ES is the soil modulus. Students, you have to remember, this is not the Young's modulus as you call for other civil engineering materials. It is called the soil modulus. Soil is a non-linear material, and soil modulus is obtained from the stress strain curve. Okay, it will be something like this. Okay. Then you have to, sorry, this is not the, okay, the typical curve. It is for concrete. You may have something like this. Okay, now we have to take the initial tangent modulus and find out this is known as the soil modulus. This is stress to strain, axial stress to axial strain. Now you may have different shapes. Okay, you may have a peak and it can come like this. It may be curve like this, which becomes flattened. Okay, initially there will be a rise and later it becomes asymptote. Okay. Depending upon the type of thing, usually we take the initial straight line portion and take the slope of that. Okay. Now we'll try to see how to find out the consolidation settlement for clays. We already discussed in the chapter on consolidation settlement, consolidation chapter, but still we'll try to discuss about the consolidation settlement. Usually the primary consolidation. The major portion of the settlement will be the primary consolidation settlement. This secondary consolidation, this is because of the squeezing of water, and the volume change take place, and that leads to consolidation settlement. This is because of the readjustment of the plastic fine grained particles and squeezing of diffuse double layer water. This diffuse double layer water, of course, this will be very, very, very minimum. Typical example of secondary consolidation settlement is leaning tower of Pisa. Now we will try to leaning tower of Pisa is leaning and it is continuing. It takes centuries. Now we will go to the expression, how to find out the consolidation settlement. This consolidation settlement is Cc by 1 plus E naught into H into log of sigma naught prime plus delta sigma prime divided by sigma naught prime base 10, where Cc is the compression index. So it is the compression index which is obtained from the void ratio pressure curve. Okay, already I have discussed about that void ratio pressure curve. We have in the normally consolidated region, you can take like this, the void ratio versus log of pressure. In this portion, okay, in the straight line portion, in the normally consolidated region, this is more consolidated region, you take the slope, the negative slope of the straight line portion is called the compression index Cc. Using that, we are going to find out the amount of compression that is going to take place. Then E naught is the in situ void ratio. Then we have the overburden pressure, and this is the pressure increment. And H is the thickness of clay layer. Okay. Now let us try to work out some examples, both for finding out the elastic settlement in clay and consolidation settlement in. See that humid settlement, if it is a C5 soil, is still considered as a clay soil and we can find it out. And for sand, it should be exclusively sand, then we can use the first expression. Now we will try to see some numerical examples. And I have not given what is meant by influence factor. The influence value, now depending whether the foundation is rigid or flexible, IS code has given some guidelines, okay, are the table. Now let us see, I'll just give you the table given by IS 8009 part 1 1996. Okay, one can refer to the table. Okay, I'll just give you what are the contents so that you understand shape of loaded area. If you got a flexible footing, in a flexible footing what happens, the footing will settle to different extent when it is at the center of the footing and at the corner. Since it is flexible, what happens, the settlement in the center is different from the settlement at the corner, and we have to take the average value. And if it is a rigid footing, I'll just give you the contents. In the first one, in the circular footing, this value is 1 at the center and 0.64, 0.85, and for a rigid footing it is a constant 1 value. Then in the rectangular footing, including the square, what happens, rectangular footing, when the B by L by B ratio, depending upon the L by B ratio, if it is 1, then it becomes a square footing. This is nothing but a square footing. Then you got for different values of L by B ratios. I am not going to give the complete table, I will just give you what are the contents so that you understand. Now why you have a very high value of 100? Because if you got a mat foundation, you may have get such a condition. You have to use depending upon the field condition. Different values have been suggested. Now let us take for one case. It is given as 1.12, 0.56, 0.95 and 0.9. Now see the value for average value for a flexible footing is more compared to the rigid footing. Therefore what happens, when you got a flexible footing, you can expect this to be more. Therefore the ratios, the quantity is less, means what happens, influence it is going to reduce, and if it is a flexible footing, the settlement is going to be more. And we'll see what is the highest value. It varies from 1.12, 3.38, this is 1.69, and the average is 2.96, whereas this is 2.7. Always for a rigid footing, it is always on the lesser side. Okay, this you can refer to any standard textbooks, or you can refer to the IS code. You will be getting this thing. In the test or the examination, this value should be, as a chart, it will be supplied to you. You have to choose from this chart and take the influence value. Now let us take a numerical example on both clay soils. For a clay soil or a C5 soil, how to find out the immediate settlement. In one of the example, it was asked in Bangalore University, there is a foundation which is a rectangular foundation 4 meter by 2 meters. This is L and this is B. Then the footing load, which is equal to 200 kilonewton per meter square. Then the soil modulus is given as 45 mega newton per meter square. Students, you need to be very careful with the units. See here it is in kilonewton per meter square, this is mega newton. Therefore you have to immediately convert into. Students make a mistake of substituting this value directly. Then he is asked to find out the influence value. IW is taken as, take it, he has given, take it as the ratio B by L. Therefore in this case B is 2 meters, L is 4 meters, therefore it comes to 0.5. Okay. Otherwise you have to look from the table, but he has made the students to think. Okay, small thing. Then he is asked to find out what is the immediate settlement. The Poisson ratio has been not given. You can assume. Rho is not given. That is a question mark. Okay, you can assume it. Assume a suitable value. Then the the immediate settlement is Q1 or Q into Q1 or Q. Okay. Q is equal to Q1 into B into 1 minus of mu square into IW divided by, in case Q is not given, Poisson ratio is not given, you have can assume 0.4 or 0.5. Okay, if it is clay, you can take it as 0.5. If it is C5 soil, you can take it as 0.4. Let us take it as 0.4. Okay, Q is 200 into B is 2 meters into 1 minus of 0.4 square into IW is 0.5 divided by 45 into 10 raised 3 kilonewton per meter square. Now let us try to see what is the value that is going to come. This will be coming in meter, therefore you have to be careful. It comes to 3.73 into 10 raised minus 3 meters, or it is 3.73 meters. Students always express, it is very convenient because the number will be very small, try to express in millimeters, that will be giving an idea. Usually the differential settlements will be, tolerable differential settlements will be around 25, and total settlement will be around 50 centimeter, 50 mm, which is tolerable. If it exceeds, okay, then we'll have to take care. Well, this is immediate settlement. It's going to be very minimum. Now let us take other examples. We'll try to see how we can solve for clay soils. For a clay, we will usually expect a consolidation settlement. Now there is a new construction which is planned on a layer of 8-meter thick, thick clay layer, saturated compressible clay. Now this clay is on hard rock bed, therefore this is going to compress, extremely high compression is going to take place. He is asking me to find out the consolidation settlement, the existing overburden pressure, it is sigma naught prime, existing overburden pressure is 250 kPa or 250 kN per meter square at the center of clay layer, and this is going to be subjected to an increase in pressure which is 150 kPa due to the new construction. The water content, natural water content is 40%. Then he has given the compression index is equal to 0.3 and the specific gravity is equal to 2.7 respectively. Now this is 8 meters thick and below is rock. Okay, now the profile looks like this. This is 8 meters and below you got rock bed. Now he has given this and this, okay, the pressure, okay, there is no need to find out the overburden pressure. He has given, why he has given this? Why he has given this? Okay, this is actually not an actual water content, it should be liquid limit, there is a mistake in that. The numerical example doesn't matter. The liquid limit is 40%. Now why this has been given? Liquid limit, not liquid limit, natural water content, because he has given CC. This data is superfluous to confuse the students. This is also superfluous, it is not needed for this problem. Now my consolidation settlement is equal to Cc by 1 plus E naught. No, this is required because not superfluous. Okay, now because we need to calculate, this is not given. Into H into log of sigma naught prime plus delta sigma prime divided by sigma naught prime base 10. Some numerical examples will give. In case Cc is not given, we will have liquid limit will be given. Using the liquid limit, you can find out Cc. Okay, now we will also work out that kind of problem. Now, since Wn is given, he is telling it is a saturated condition, I need to find out the in situ void ratio. Now, saturated unit weight is given as Gs plus E into gamma W by 1 plus E or E naught. Okay. Now, this is given. This is 2.7 plus E into 9.81 divided by 1 plus E naught. Okay. Now how to get this? Okay, I don't know this also. Okay. Now in most of the examinations, since it is saturated, degree of saturation is equal to 1, he has given the specific gravity 2.7, he has given the natural water content. Why I wrote this? Because usually tendency is to try to work out from this. If you don't have this, what is to be done? Now we will have to think of the other phase interrelationship. Natural water content is 40%, therefore E can be found out. Now what is the expression? SR into E is equal to W into GS. Okay, SR is 1, E becomes E naught, W is 40%. Therefore, I get my in situ void ratio 0.4 into 2.7, it is 1.08. Now students, it is more than 1. Feel, is it right or okay? It is very high, nothing to worry, because it is a clay medium. You can expect void ratio to be greater than 1 also. Sometimes you can get even up to 5, 10, even up to 25. In sodium bentonite, you can expect to have very high void ratio. Now substituting in this expression, what happens? Cc is 0.3 into H. Now I need at the middle of the clay layer. Now the question is, should I take, what should be the value of H I need to substitute here? H value is the complete thickness of the clay layer. Therefore, you should take, but you are trying to find out the middle of the clay layer, but the thickness should be the complete compressible layer into log of, what is the pressure? Over bottom pressure is 250 plus, then you got 150. Okay. Divided by 250, which was the initial over bottom pressure, to the base 10, divided by 1 plus 1.08. Now I'll get, let me see what is the value. See the units, whatever units you are going to substitute here, that is the unit of your settlement. So let us see what is the value. 250 plus 150. We get point 2355. Okay, this is equal to in meters. This is in meters. Or to, if you multiply by 1000, therefore you are going to have a very high consolidation settlement, which is not tolerable. Therefore, we need to do some ground improvement techniques. Now, in case they are not given this value, students, if they are given liquid limit, then how to find out Cc? We have to use empirical expression. Use empirical expression. To find Cc. Cc is equal to 0.009 into Wl minus of 10. This was given by Terzaghi and Peck in 1967. Use this empirical expression to find out the consolidation settlement. Okay, this covers all the varieties of numerical examples. We may have one more type of problem. Just I will show you what type of problem, how to find out. I think you can take it as an assignment and you can try to work out this problem. In this case, it is a foundation plan is like this, 200 meters, and this is 25, this is 60. This is 60 meters, this is 25 meters, this is the point X, and this is 200 meters, this is 50 meters. The E value is given, ES is equal to 18 meganewton per meter square, and the bearing pressure is equal to 270 kilonewton per meter square. It is asking you to find out the consolidation settlement at point X. So this is a plan area. What we are trying to do is, on this they are going to dump some material. Because of dumping some soil, Let us say this is the ground and you are trying to dump some soil material. On this, at this point, you are going to have a load of 270 kilonewton per meter square. Now, what is the settlement at this point? X. Okay. So this is one of the problem. Okay, you can work out this problem. Okay, I will send you all this numerical examples as a sheet. Okay, you can try to use this sheet and try to take this assignment. Okay, this tutorials. I will send you some more numerical examples so that you can practice them for the understanding and also your preparation for your test and also the final sum and examination.